Welcome to The Passion Pod with your host, Chris Johnson. Thanks for joining us. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the feature presentation.
Season 7, Episode 6.
Welcome back, friends. Today we're in, are we Hollywood here?
Yeah,
or
this is the heart of Hollywood.
Okay, we're in the heart of Hollywood with a skateboarder and musician that I just met. Our guest today has actually never done an interview before, really, so I'm kind of stoked to be the first one to share his story.
Yeah, let's go.
Welcome to the show, Javan.
Hey, what's up, yo? How you doing?
Dude, chilling. I just took way too long. So today I already took like a $50 Uber out to Venice, and then I just had to drop close to that again just to get back to this area. And then I got to get to another interview.
Yo, you got it. You just got to rent a car when you come out here.
Dude, last time I did do that, but it was like $400 for the week, and you still have to pay for parking everywhere.
Yeah, but I mean Uber, think about what you just said, 50-50, and that's just in one day, and you got to go probably do it again.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this time I probably blew it. Last time I didn't get my money out of it, but this time I blew it.
Yeah.
So anyways, who are you and what are you passionate about?
Well, I'm a skater and I'm a musician, an artist. So I skateboard. Oh my God. We've got the helicopters flying over us right now.
It has the right ambiance.
So I'm a skateboarder and a musician from Philly. Mostly skateboarding until I was like about 20. And then I kind of transitioned over.
How old are you now?
I'm 24.
Oh, okay.
So I transitioned over and started doing more music, and then that kind of, engulfed my whole world for a little bit. And then I started getting back on the wagon with skating, and then now it's like connected. So
yeah.
Sick.
So like Kevin Romar,
Yeah,
or like
yeah,
Nog.
Yeah, like I just did a show in Long Beach the other week. And it was like a skate competition and like a little show. Me and my homie K Beach performed and Kevin Romar DJ'd.
Really?
Yeah.
Kevin Romar's like, I've folled his whole career because I'm
met him
31.
the other week.
So, dude, so he's one person that I definitely want to get on the show at some point because like, I'm one of those people where, so I opened my skateboard shop when I was 23. When my shop hit 5, it was time like, I kind of want to do some more shit.
Yeah.
Right? So that's when I started doing the show. So I really appreciate when I see somebody who has a career path that's working, but then they still make that transition to something
and
else.
do something else.
Yeah, and then succeed at it.
Because it's a challenge.
Right, exactly. So I have so much respect for Kevin, and I really want to interview him at some point. So hopefully I'll get a connection to him from somewhere. So you're from Philly?
Yep.
When did you move here?
A year ago.
Oh, so you're fresh.
A year ago in August. Not August, July. Yeah.
Okay, so what was the story moving out here?
The pandemic.
Okay.
I just, with unemployment and all the money that they was giving people for artists, since I was doing a bunch of shows before the pandemic, I had like pay stubs to show like, yo, I was making like $3,000 a month doing shows. Now I need that to supplement my rent, all that shit. So they gave me unemployment. And so it started in March, right? But I didn't get it until like July. So I had months of back pay. So when I got it, I got like 10 bands at once. I was like, all right, I could either just squabble it away on the East Coast, or I'm like, yo, I could make that move. And so my girl and I came out here on vacation, and we stayed on this, like the block that I live on, in the Airbnb. And then we were like, let's just look at apartments. So across the street, up the hill, there was a 2-bedroom for like $2,000, right? And we were like, oh, that's nice, but let's look a little bit more. And we looked on Zillow, and it was like hella expensive. And then we walked down the street, and we saw this. And we just seen like the front, and we just called. And nice little Mexican lady came out, showed us this, and we were like, we'll take it. Because we were like, we want to do month to month. And she was like, if you can do 6 months, and then we could transfer it to month. So we did 6 months, and then we've been month to month ever since.
Dude, I mean, that's like perfect situation. This is actually really cool because you're pretty private back in here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like when you look around, it's like feels safe, like you're in your own little space.
Not, I mean, I've had to like kick a crackhead out of here before.
Sure.
Yeah, like, but for the most part, yeah, like we got free parking. You don't really know where this is unless you even if you know where it is, it's like, even if you see me outside, like, to know where my crib is, you would have to know. So I like that. I like it. And it's not that expensive, to be honest, in this area. Like, and we split it, so it's not bad.
No, I don't think it's that bad. I mean, in comparison to what I've heard from other people for what they've spent, I don't think it's horrible. So.
I mean, even around here, like my friends, I know like somebody who pays like $1,800 for a studio, like around here.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah, yeah.
Because up the street, 2 bedrooms was 2,000. Like,
Yeah. Well, he blew it. So
yeah, he really did.
So when did you start playing shows? Like, when did the music thing come along? You're 24. How long ago was this?
About 12 years ago. So my homies back in Philly who were older than me, who I skated with, like at Love Park and City Hall before they tore all that shit
Did you ever
down.
do anything down the gap?
Nah, I never did anything down the Love Gap, but I've done some I've Love Park up. Like,
Sick.
I've done shit on the
What
bump.
about the courthouse?
What, like the municipal building? Yeah. I've done hella shit there.
Damn.
I skated Muni for years. Even before I used to skate Muni before it was trendy. Like, when everyone still had Love in City Hall, like, I would go over to Muni sometimes on my dolo before work, because you couldn't really skate unless it was a bunch of people skating. You couldn't skate City Hall or Love Park. Like, if you was just one person, they would just definitely come with you. But at Muni, they wouldn't with you in the back. So I would just go to the back with the 2 ledges that everyone skates now, and skate them all day.
Did you ever see, like, Wenning out that way or Ashad?
Yeah. So I know Ashad. Like, I grew up watching Ashad from when he was, like, there was a shop in Philly called Final Boarding, right? And I remember setting up, like, one of my first boards there when I was, like, 12 or 13. No, 13, right? And I remember them saying, I can't believe that kid switch flip Love Gap. He's, like, 16. He's, like, 16. And then next thing I know, it was Ashad, and then as soon as that, like the whispers in the skate shops, went to the fucking moon.
Yeah, dude, he blew up like fast.
But he earned it though. Like, I remember watching him win. I was at the Maloof Money Cup in DC when he won that.
Yeah,
I went and saw that because it was like a new skate park, so they let the kids skate that.
Well, and let's be real, who goes pro for real without really deserving it? Right? Like, that's one of the hardest companies to go pro for.
If you go pro for real, you're like top tier skateboarding.
Yeah,
like very,
absolutely.
Very high tier.
So you started playing music, or you started doing music when you said 12?
Oh yeah, so not really. I started skating around 12, and then around like 14, 15, my friends who were older than me started a group, and then we kind of had like a collective based around their group of like the skate homies and the rap homies. And they started doing shows, so we would naturally be on stage. And then once I started making music with them and had songs, we would perform those on stage. So by like 15, I was doing shows and we would book our own venues. Yeah, so we were doing that before like hip hop kind of changed. So we were doing like a lot of the old school beats, like remixing those and just doing more boom bap. And then probably when I was like 16, that whole like Cool Kids, Chuck English sound was like around. And then it kind of flipped. And I was still young enough to like be able to adapt and listen to it. But a lot of my homies that were older kind of like kept doing the boom bap and it worked for them. But like, it's not in demand like it was before, you feel me?
Yeah. So 15 is when you started playing shows. When was the first time you made money off of a show? Like, how old were you?
I want to say like 19.
So you did a bunch of regular jobs then during that time, probably, huh?
So when I was 17, I worked at a coffee shop, and then I moved to Denver. As soon as I finished high school, I moved to Denver because one of my best friends, he was from Denver, but he lived in Philly. We grew up in Philly, but he was originally, his grandparents lived in Denver.
Yeah.
So he went out there for college and would come back in the summers because his family lived there. Sure. So he was just like, yo, we got to go out there. We gotta live out there. And then he got on Lakai out there.
Oh,
so
sick.
I was like, that's the ticket. I'm 16, like, doing hard flip crooks. Like, I fucking rolled the shit out my ankle when I was 17, rehabbed it, and was like, all right, boom. Like, high school, done, ankles pretty good, I'm out. So 17, I moved out to Denver in September, and then in December, they evicted us for smoking weed in our apartment. But I had my med card. But it was just a lot to fight, and it was like they wanted to do it. They ran their rental properties federally because they had them in different, like, states or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were like, yeah, weed's still illegal federally. Like, nah.
Sure.
And so and I was like 18. I had turned 18 in Denver, so I came back to Philly when I was 18, and then kind of just figured shit out and got my job back at the coffee shop. So from 18 to 21, I worked 9 to 5.
Damn. And then 21 was full-time music from there. 21,
yeah. So my manager, my boy, who was my manager for a few years, Yofre, partnered up with these guys called Beat Gig. And my homie has this company called College Weekly. So he has like a big network of like the frats and the social chairs and all that. So they kind of teamed up and they did a tour. And they did a tour, and Beatbox, which is like a alcohol company.
Yeah.
It's funny, like beat gig, beatboxes.
Yeah.
Hella coincidence. But they had to set up a tour with this EDM group called, what was it called? GTA. So we kind of did like the GTA tour because my manager was doing the tour managing. So he kind of just would sneak us on the shows like, yo, can they open up?
Okay.
And so that kind of doing that and getting footage from that and kind of also booking little shows with Beat Gig via like the network we had on the way. We got paid for like one show on like a 16-leg tour, right? But we had our Airbnbs covered because we had a homie slot and we like had enough money together to just pay for Airbnbs and we had like a car, like a little Sprinter. So it was cool. It was like a nice experience. So after that, when we got off of that tour, I had footage and everything to then be like, all right, book me solo. And so that was like 2018. So after I was like 21 in 2018. So from there, after that, I kind of was doing my own thing, just dropping music. And then around like the end of 2018, start of 2019, I started booking my solo shit, like $800 a show at the frat, right? And then we got it up to 1,500, and we got it up to 1,500 like 2019, like May, like June, right? I opened up for Young Dolph. I did like 2 shows back to back in Oklahoma, a show in Mississippi, and then they loved me in Mississippi so much that I came back to Mississippi. No, that's cap. I did a show at Ole Miss. I opened up for 88 Glam, right? And then they're like brother frat in Alabama saw that shit and was like, yo, we want him. So I opened up for Murder Beats. I did Alabama, and then they liked me so much that I came back and did like my birthday show there, and I was the headliner.
Sick.
Yeah.
Right before then all of a sudden quarantine.
So this was like the end. So the end of 2019, you know, like summer happened. So I was just like making music, shooting videos in the summer. Shot like I had dropped my like first EP. I had it ready. Shot 3 videos. Had to roll out everything ready. And so 2020 came, January 2020. So my goal was drop the EP in the first quarter of 2020 and do an international show. I got booked for spring break in the Bahamas. Like when K-Camp Renegade was going crazy, I opened up direct support for him in the Bahamas. And this was March 3rd. So March 3rd to the 7th, I was in the Bahamas, right? And then as soon as I got off the plane, they were like, yeah, New York's quarantine. Because I was living in New York at the time.
Oh, okay.
So I flew into New York and went to the crib in New York. And then they were like, yeah, we're shutting New York down. So I couldn't even go home to Philly and see my mom and do all that. So like for 2 months, I was just in New York. Just
Damn.
like I had just dropped my like solo shit. So in that whole little time period of when it was really bad, I was like putting out music videos and putting out content. And then I had enough for a solid rollout, but then I was like, all right, I want to drop more shit, and it's kind of hard to shoot. It was kind of hard for that little time period to shoot videos because you couldn't have a lot of people around. You didn't know who had COVID.
Yeah.
It was no vaccines. It was like tests wasn't easy to get. So so that kind of like put a little hindrance on my, but not that much.
Yeah, well, and it's going to be coming. So I never asked you earlier, so that way people can find it quick. How can people best follow you and get in contact with you?
It's Javan on Instagram. ITS.JAVAN.
Perfect. I want to know who your inspirations are. Before we get into more of your music stuff, I'm just curious, who are the like skateboarders that you look up to? Who are the musicians that you look up to?
So skateboarder influences, it's crazy because before I skateboarded, I knew a lot about skateboarding because obviously like that era of Tony Hawk games and everything kind of just being an influx and Rob Dyrdek having a show and all that. So influences of skateboarding, I would say Stevie Williams for sure. Like I did a book report on him before.
Have you ever met him?
Yeah, he's the homie. He's the OG.
He's like Jaquan a lot, right?
Yeah, so when Jaquan was a thing, like during quarantine, that's when I formally met him because I had met him when I was a kid at Love Park, but like I was a kid. So when I met him at Jaquan, I was like, oh yeah, I'm from Love Park. Like I got that shit tatted, like whoop-de-whoop. And then he just took me under his wing. Me and Dane Vaughn are really good friends, and he's pro for DGK.
Dude, I have his pro debut board signed to me.
Yeah?
Yeah, because he's from Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Louisiana, but then, like, grew up in Minneapolis, which is my zone.
Yeah, he, like, went up He was down south and he went up and then he went west.
Yeah. But
Dane's
Minneapolis
really
is only 90 miles from me.
Oh, word.
Yeah. So I've been trying to get a hold of him.
I could definitely tap y'all in together. I could get that. But yeah, Dane's the homie. So when I first came out here, I was just skating Chevy because that's like my local park, like 15 minutes away. And then one homie that I grew up with skating in Philly already lived out here. So I was like, yo, what are you doing? And it was a Sunday. And he was like, Jaquan. I was like, all right, bet, we there. So I had never met Dane, nothing. And I had just like wrote a spliff and I asked him for a lighter. I was like, oh, it's Dane Vaughn. I'm asking for a lighter. So I asked for a lighter and then we get to talking. I'm like, yeah, I just moved out here from Philly, New York area. He was like, oh, that's fire. Like, I'm like, yeah, bro, this valid. Like, I'm so happy to be here. He was like, yeah, you belong out here, and just skated away. Didn't know me. And then from months of skating Jaquan and skating in the field, like, we became really good friends. And then, like, I mean, and I fucked my ankle up in May, but before then, Dane was blessing me with boards, everything. You feel me?
Yeah.
So shout out to Dane for real. But he's one of my, I could say that too, Dane Vaughn. How he came up, his story, valid.
Yeah.
And as much other that he does, like, creatively, bro put in work on that board. Like,
dude,
don't get it twisted. Like, Dane will come out of nowhere with some hot, and you will be like, oh, what?
Dude, we've been waiting on it because his last stuff that he put out was like mind blowing.
Yeah,
so I actually interviewed you probably know a couple of these people because I know a lot of the people in his particular crowd, which is obviously why I ended up getting connected to you too, right? You know Isaac Pelayo?
No, I don't.
The painter? Oh, dude, he's a rapper and a painter, and he's pretty big. I'll show you him, but he's done a bunch of shit with Dane. He's good friends with him. And then I also interviewed J-Rap, if you know who he is.
I think I know who J-Rap is. I'm not too sure because we skated a lot together, and then once my ankle fucked up, because I just kind of just fell back off of like the whole skate scene. I just been like really focusing on my music right now.
Sure.
But now, like, we going on a skate tour in September. The full West Coast.
And that's going to be the Deathproof.
Yeah, Deathproof.
Okay, so tell me what Deathproof is.
So Deathproof is a group of crazy motherfuckers from all around the country, all around the world actually. Yeah, and we just skate and we make music and we make art and we do a bunch of shit and we do it well and we do it for ourselves. Like, you know, that's what it is.
How many people are involved in that?
About 20, 30.
And you guys are doing shows when you travel then,
okay, so
right?
yeah, so like right now, like the homie Axel, the homie NASCAR, the homie Ali, and the homie Miyagi are in Texas. They just got to Texas like right now to do a show. So like, if the show fits your music and your, you better go get that money. You feel me?
Yeah.
So that's how it is. So with the skate, it's like, all right, so a couple of the homies that make music or it's kind of a crazy collective because some people got into it making music and some people got into it skating. And now, like, it's meshed. So, like, I got into it skating, but, like, the homies that make music, like, the song y'all just heard, like, that's one of the first things that I made with the homie Dirty. And that's a masterpiece. You feel me? So,
yeah, dude. Sick.
So, yeah, it's about 30 of us in general, right? But then, like, that can be broken down into who skates, who makes music, who does the clothes, like that. So,
dude, when you stop looking at competing with each other and just looking at bringing people up, all of a sudden you got this huge team all trying to help each other. It's kind of an unstoppable force. Yeah,
so basically, bro, so when the bake life kind of died down and people got a little older and started doing their own thing, it kind of sucked because we were such a tight-knit group, like growing up skateboarding, Love Park, everything. So when all that kind of got destroyed, it kind of destroyed our friend group. And so now being out here and having Jaquan be like damn near the LA Love Park and meeting the homies there and being like, yo, come to the crib, yo, you should skate for us. And now we making music and now we going on tours and doing all this. Like, damn, bro. Like, yeah, this is sick. And it happened real organically. So It's like, you know, that's going to seek out the people that it needs to. Yeah. And that energy is going, you know, it's going to facilitate that. So I feel like it was meant to be.
Yeah, dude, people are going to see it and they're going to want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Obviously. You know what I mean? Whether they're just a supporter by listening or whatever.
And we do like a lot of where like the homies have this like branch off thing called 4815 where they book shows and they book artists and they throw parties and they throw events. So like the network that we have is super crazy because some of the people, if you don't make music, all right, you're doing the titles for the videos or you're helping throw the events and networking. So so many people know about us either directly or indirectly. It's cool, bro, and it's all natural. It's not nobody's trying to weasel their way in or fuck somebody over. Like, we doing this for the love of the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be.
And none of us are lucky. It's like, it's not like like the homie Miyagi said that shit the other day. He was like, none of us, we all here because we really do this shit. If you was lucky, you would be sipping lean with Playboy Cardi somewhere right now in a hotel room. Like, them the lucky, we here to work. So if you ain't about that shit, then, you know, there go the door.
Dude,
so,
luck doesn't last anyways. You know, you might have one opportunity, but if you don't know how to capitalize on that opportunity, that's what I always try to explain to people when they're like, how in the world are you interviewing this person or that person or whatever? Well, I did right by a lot of people.
Right.
And eventually, one individual, Max Menaker, a.k.a. Visual Dirt on Instagram, he in particular ended up having a bunch of connections out here in L.A. because he spent a lot of time out here as a photographer, and he introduced me to a lot of people.
And that's
he
what
wasn't
it takes,
the only
though.
one, but he was like the most integral person as far as like introducing me to these people. But that's not luck. That was because I already was doing cool shit for a while. Yeah. You know what I mean? And eventually that's going to happen. You meet enough people.
It's a build-up. It's a build-up.
Eventually you meet enough people, do right by enough people, you're going to meet the right person.
Right.
Like, it's just a matter of time. So going back to the inspiration, who inspires and influences your music right now?
Right now, oh man, it's right now is a crazy time for my music. So before I would say like Kanye, you know, I would say Jay-Z a little bit, Biggie, Big L. Like, I'm an East Coast kid, so like I grew up on real hip hop, right? I didn't grow up on no bull. Like, when I was first started rapping, like, you had to have bars, like you had to be saying some hot shit. So I appreciate the culture and the lyricism a lot, but like people like Kanye, people like Jay-Z, I would say Pharrell. It's kind of basic, for real. It's not like basic, but it's like what a East Coast kid would listen to in that era. And now I would say the homies. I don't listen to nothing but the homies. Like, the homies, it's enough of us in our circle in Deathproof that someone's dropping something new every other week or month, or so it's enough where you could create a playlist and then just listen to the homies. And it's like, it's cool because you will listen to the homie, two homies that got a song together, then your song that you made with the homie will come on, and then, you know, it's cool. So now for the last year, it's been the homies. Like, I ain't been listening to shit else, but like the kid Sofago, he's fire. Like, there's a couple kids out here that are doing their thing, you feel me? But other than what I hear on, like, if I'm going to the gym and just listening to Beast Mode on Spotify or like in the car, I mean, I just listen to the homies.
Dude, I'm interested in the Pharrell thing. So Pharrell, it's like his cousin or whatever that skated, right? So he had this whole like skateboard thing.
Yeah.
You remember the ice cream thing?
Yeah, because that's kind of how
out there. It never hit my zone.
Okay, so I didn't skate yet, so I was kind of like I was the kid who like played Guitar Hero. Like, I had went through a phase where I was super hip hoppy in 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, and then when I was in 6th grade, I was like, all right, what's like rock like? So I would listen to a bunch of Slipknot and Megadeth, and I don't know, I just had like a really extensive playlist of like that would play in skate videos and like, you know, other bands. And so I would listen to a lot of Tool, and it's crazy. I got a crazy story about Tool for you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I'll tell you about it after this.
All
but
right.
like, where was I going? Oh yeah, inspirations. So like, like, it's kind of like rock, hip hop, Rage Against the Machine-ish type.
Rage Against the Machine is my favorite band ever. It's because Zach De La Rocha is a rapper.
So my mentor, the story how I met my mentor is crazy. But my mentor used to manage Rage Against the Machine, but he still manages Tool, and he's like a English bloke from South London, you know, crazy fool, but he's sick. Yeah. And like, I randomly met his wife at a car shop trying to get my shit fixed, and she was like, oh, what do you do? I was like, I make music and I skateboard. And she was like, oh, do you have an agent? I was like, nah, not really. And she's like, oh, we must get you an agent, like in a British accent, everything. And I mean, they've been helping me out a lot. And we're about to roll out like my next project, and like, not my next project, but my next single. Yeah. I shot a video for it the other week, so we're gonna roll it out pretty well and see how that shit goes.
Dope. So in order to stand out right now, right, because all the tools are there to make anything, people can make shit with an iPhone. You look at Chance, he can make shit without having anything, right? Mm-hmm. So what is it about you that is standing out that's making it work? All
right, so for years before like I found the Deathproof homies or anything, like I was engineering myself, and just from being around, being a kid, being young enough to see people make mistakes and kind of learn from their mistakes instead of making it myself, it's like, you got to stay hungry, you got to stay humble, and you got to stay focused. So I just locked in for a year and really crafted my sound as an artist and as an engineer. And so like, I'm really versed when it comes to like mixing, I wouldn't say I'm really good at mastering, because that's you gotta like develop an ear for that. But yeah, so mixing, I can mix down any record, like for the most part. And I was doing like all of my own for like 2 years. So just knowing my sound and exactly how I want to sound, and now that I got homies that are better than me at mixing, that I could just be like, yo, this is the sauce that I was using, add it to your shit, and let's see how it sound. Now my music is sounding crazy. And just from being in LA and like working, like you said, just doing right by enough people, I had a homie, Hefe got one, he's a fire producer back in Philly. One of our records that we just dropped in like February, the guy who made the loop for it ended up being like a super fire producer who lives in LA. So him and I came to one of the shows, saw me do the records that we got in person, saw like the underground culture, what we doing. So it's kind of like just having that connection with people and knowing how you want to sound and being focused, humble, and you know, keeping that hustle alive. That's what it is. It's like you just got to keep that fire in you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if you're intentional, and I was just talking to Blake Johnson earlier today about it, and I was like, look, if he was talking about staying 2 steps ahead, and that's really it, right? Is if you are trying to be whatever you want yourself to be 2 steps from now, you know, a year from now, 2 years from now, if that's the person you're trying to be right now, people are going to see that, and they want to help you get to that point because they believe it, because you believe it.
But
right?
if you go at it the way like I'm the shit.
No, yeah,
y'all
not
motherfuckers
like that, yeah.
is sleeping on me. Like, then if you say that to enough people, it kind of just comes off complaining.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then people don't want to help you. And like, I didn't really realize it until I moved out here full time, because I would come out here before Corona. I would come out here for like a month, but then I would go back east for like 4 months.
Yeah.
So all the friends and all the people I met, they would keep their network and their connections from the parties that we went to, whatever, and they would build them. And I would be in and out, you know?
Yeah.
And people don't really take you serious if you in and out, you know? Like, you can, but it depends. So, and in my journey, that wasn't the case. So when I was able to be out here for a long period of time, I started working.
Yeah.
And I really saw that, like, all right, these people who I know from being around and seeing me once or twice or 3 times, it's like, nah, when you around them more and it's genuine, like, friendships, then people will start helping you. But they don't want to take a chance on you if you're not taking a chance on you. You feel me?
Yeah,
you gotta bet on yourself.
Right, and that's it. It's not about saying like I should be somewhere. It's I will be somewhere.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Regardless.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna, and I know it. That's the energy that people want attached to, because it's like, oh, well, regardless if I help him, he's gonna make it.
Right.
I want to be a part of that because I believe in this person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because anyone can make excuses. That shit
anyone
doesn't mean
can make it. And anyone can make excuses, and anyone can make it. As hard as it is to make it, people like that don't even care about this shit be making it. So it's like, if they can make it, it's like, all right, how the do I get in on this? It's like, you just gotta keep working on it.
So, along the trajectory of where you're at right now, right? You're starting to blow up. Obviously, you can make money off shows. You have the right connections. You haven't been out here that long, and things are really going. Where do you see yourself as far as the general, like the trajectory of your career? Where are you at?
So what I'm trying to figure out next is how I could build like that core fan base that is like-minded. So like, I don't want to have people listening. I mean, I don't care, but like, I would rather have a fan that I can have a conversation with, have a drink with, right? When I meet that fan, like, I can connect with that person, rather than somebody who just cares because they saw me on the internet and they think that I'm cool because I do stupid shit. You know, it's kind of different. So I wanna kind of solidify myself and try to figure out how I could build this shit out and have longevity with my music and bring it into the physical, because now people don't hold your CD in your hand. So just trying to get merch and building that shit up with Deathproof, like the skate shit, getting more boards out, figuring how we can mass produce these, because we have enough people that can do the shit, the graphics, everything. We just need to figure out the logistics of it and get it done and just attack that. So in the next, like, I have it on my board in my room, like until the end of the year, just kind of try to get the merch done and bring the core fan base in and have them have something physical that they can hold on to, do more shows, and drop a fucking skate park. Even if it's like a minute and a half, right? We're going up and doing a skate tour. I'm gonna have like at least 2 minutes worth of footage that's fire.
Yeah.
At least fire enough to me.
Yeah.
So I wanna finally drop some. Cause I've never like really dropped a full skate part, and I've never dropped a part that I worked on. Like I've dropped like I've compiled footage over like years, and then just put it on YouTube. But like I've never like worked on a part with the kind of aesthetic and do that.
Dude, I feel it because I own a shop, so obviously like I might be able to be helpful as far as industry side on that particular thing. That's what I do. But I don't sponsor myself, obviously. But I've been skating a long time.
Right.
So, I mean, in comparison to LA kids, I'm not good, but I'm decent at skateboarding anyways. And so we did a couple shop videos, you know, because those are obviously a thing. And we had the second one actually was like 40 minutes, and it was in our like budget theater. We sold out the show, super sick. And I got to have that experience of having the like 3-minute part I worked on all year where it's like on the big screen.
And
that's
watching
like,
it.
dude,
yeah, so when I was young,
such an epic moment.
When I was young, that what was it? Chris Mulhern's. It was, it's like, it's not. It was the one with Lucian Clark in it. I can't remember what it was called. This Time Tomorrow.
Okay.
So it was a video called This Time Tomorrow, and it dropped when I was like 13, right?
Yeah.
And me and my homies trekked in the snow, got on the train to go downtown and see this video. And then I was like, damn. And I saw Lucian Clark, and he was like, a light-skinned fool, look just like me. In the video, I'm like, yo, yeah, I could do this. So like, just seeing that as a kid, yeah, bro, that's something I wanna accomplish for myself. It's
You have to.
Got to.
Yeah, you absolutely have to.
I used to be on this company called Hella Cool. James, you know who James Kelch is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kelch used to have, well, he might still have it, I don't know. I was on Hella Cool for like a good 2 years, and I worked on like a slight part with them. I like compiled footage, right? And the homie who works with I Dabble now edited my shit, and him and I have went on skate missions and everything in LA, and he was like, and we were talking about this, and he was like, yeah. I was like, damn, I don't even have a part. And he was like, yes, you do. I edited your part for the Hella Vision video. And they had a big premiere and everything, but I didn't live in Ohio. So when they did the premiere, they just FaceTimed me real quick. So it wasn't like that experience of really seeing it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's why I always forget about it. And it's funny because the homie who I sent all that footage to and edited that, I know now. Like I never met him until I moved out here. And I was just randomly talking to him one day, like, yeah, bro, I'm sick that we're making this happen, like we're getting footy. I just want to drop a part. I never really dropped a part. And he was like, yeah, you have. You used to be on Television, and I edited that. I was like, what? So yeah, bro, it's like full circle. It's time to make it happen for real.
Oh, absolutely. So I saw like some videos on your Instagram of what the shows look like, and they look ridiculous. Can you share a story to try to like paint the picture of what your shows are like?
All right, yeah. So it's kind of crazy. So one of the craziest that have happened, right? And I'm not like condoning this. I'm not, it happens, Yeah. But this guy was trying to come into one of the shows. His homie paid, and he didn't want to pay. And so, bro, like it's a bunch of us at the doors. We're not like paying somebody to be at the door. The homies are at the door all night. So he like tries to push past the homie, and then the other homie goes, yo, what you doing? And like grabs him. And then he like steps up to him and hits him. So I'm right behind him, and I see it happen. I'm like, yo, relax. And then he still does it. So then I hit him, sprawls out to the street. The other homie punches him. And then after like a second or two, like everyone's like, all right, are we about to really get into a brawl with these two guys? And we're like, yeah, f it. I mean, they're just swinging on people. He like takes it on his own self to hit me again. Like he punches me in the face so lightly, bro. And I'm like, did I just get hit in the face? And the homie was, and I see him like about to try to punch me again, and I just snuff him like with my right hand twice. And like he grabs my bag, tries to like rip my shit off, and then the homie has this French bulldog outside, and like in the mix of everything that's happening, right as like I'm like fighting this guy, I see people like trying to like push through, and like they're fighting his friend, and everyone starts to fall on this French bulldog, and I'm like, the dog, and I like a fucking like it was a fumble like football. I just scoop the dog up and like run real quick, drop him off, and like I'm like, yo, what's up? Like square back up with the guy or whatever. And then after a while, that got broken up or whatever. But like, yeah, bro, we don't around. Like, we don't like to fight at our shows, but we're not scared to, you know? It's like, if you just come in and you show love and you don't disrespect our space, because it's like, it was our space. Like, the homie lived there. Yeah, it's like, just follow the rules and you'll be fine. But if not, like, then shit's gonna happen. And especially if you getting all hype with homies first.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, hey, it was bound to happen one day.
Yeah, you can't mess with a whole squad of people
Nah.
like that. You're picking like the wrong fight. But I would encourage people, go check out like the Instagram just for the videos alone to see the kind of energy that's like hopping, because it's nuts.
Yeah, so we were like we probably did like 30 shows in like no bigger than my apartment, right? Sized tattoo parlor. And they would clear all the shit out, and then we would, you know, do our thing. And then they would, in the daytime, be doing tattoos. So we did a lot of fucking shows there, and you could check that out, 4815. And then, yeah, on my Instagram, I have like a fucking edit of all the craziest shit that we've done in the past couple months. And, bro, we're about to do a bunch of more crazy shit. It's tour time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm excited. And you said you have a visual, right?
Yeah.
You were just doing a music video, and that's coming out when?
So hopefully if I get the video back this week, then, you know, we get the final one by next week. And then I'll try to drop it like the beginning of September, like right before I go on the skate tour or while I'm on the skate tour. And then I'll drop the video like a week later. I'm trying to figure out if I want to drop the video and the song at the same time. Do I want to wait? Do I want to drop the video first? So that's what we're in the process of right now. But yeah, I have a song that I'm really focused on dropping and releasing right. We already shot the entire video. The homie's editing it right now. Once he finishes that, then we're gonna get the game plan.
Dude, that's it. That's really what you got to do though, is take your time with those things.
Yeah.
Because if you rush things, it's such an oversaturated market. It's super easy to get lost. Yeah. That's why you got to have your like really, really on point. So this show, I record 10 episodes at a time.
Right.
And then they start coming out week by week. So realistically, but when this comes out, I would assume those things are out.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to like promote. We'll be able to promote them as like this episode drops. So I always like to ask this as we get towards the end of the show, because when you're pursuing something you're really passionate about, you tend to have really unique experiences, right? Because you're not working your regular job where you're stoked about an assistant management position or whatever. You know, you have stuff that's a lot more meaningful. Mm-hmm. So can you share a unique experience, something you're really grateful for, but only happened because you chose this path?
It's crazy. It was kind of at the end of when I was working a 9 to 5. The homie. I came back from work one day, and I went to the homie's crib where we used to make music, and he was like, yo, I have a show in Georgia tomorrow. You want to come? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, but we're driving. And I didn't have my license yet. So I'm like, yeah. I'm thinking we're going to drive the homie's, like, nice Toyota car, like, RV that, like, a RAV4 or whatever that we always would take on the road. No. It was too last minute. So it ended up, we drove in like a fucking Toyota Corolla that had no speedometer. Like you just drove it. Like you didn't see if you had gas. You couldn't see how fast you were going. Like we would be on, it was like back when Snapchat had the mileage filter. So we would just take a picture and like, all right, we're going like 80. All right, like you might want to slow down a little bit. So we're on the road. I call off work, everything. We get on the road. Since we don't know that we need gas, we're in like North Carolina in a hella rainstorm, and the car just stops, right? And everyone's like, two people are like, oh yeah, the car's fucked up, it's the engine, like we knew this was gonna happen, we drive it all the time. And I was like, are you sure you have gas? Like, we should just get it towed to the gas station and see if it has gas. The homie was like, no, we'll cancel the show, whatever, we'll just stay here and then we'll go back. I'm like, all right, whatever, right? So we get the car towed, they look at it, and they're like, yeah, all I needed was gas. Like, we get a hotel, we were like at Walmart around, and then we get a call, and they're like, yeah, all I needed was gas, we filled it up, it's gonna be this much, come get the car. So we're like, all right, bet, we're back on the road, we can make it to the show. So we go to Valdosta, Georgia. We do a show, fucking popping, bro. Do the show, meet all these cool people at the little bar or whatever that we do the show at. And then they're like, yo, you want to do this other show? So then he gets booked for a show, I want to say in Atlanta or somewhere like right outside of Atlanta. So then we do another show like a day later. And then we go back to we go to Milledgeville, Georgia. and we go crazy in Milledgeville. Like the stage was like in the middle of like the bar or whatever, so it was people like on all sides of us. So it was a really unique experience when I was young in the music to be able to go and do these like big popping shows, and the crowds were like going crazy to like our old like hella old and and if I never came over and was like, if I was like, oh no man, I gotta work or some like that, like I wouldn't have got those experiences that like kept that like fire inside of me to keep doing this and to get back to, you know, those big ass stages and like that. So just taking that leap and like that, you know, just blindly just going with whatever the vibe is. Sometimes it work out in your favor.
Dude, I'll tell you what, if your gut says that this is the move, 99% of the time it is.
Yeah.
Like, even if it seems risky, if your gut's telling you, I need to take this experience, you do need to take that experience.
Yeah, and even if it's like a experience,
yeah,
then you learn from it, and then you just become a better person.
Oh, absolutely, which is the next thing I was going to ask you about, right? How we learn, like, the most anyways, when we grow the most is through mistakes that we make.
Right.
Which is why it's good to just go with your gut feeling and make a mistake rather than just, like, take people's advice. Because what happens when you take other people's advice and then they're wrong, then you're pissed. Because you didn't even learn anything at that point.
Yeah, you're just like, damn, I just wasted a bunch of time.
That's what I'm saying. So you got to go with your gut. So what was a story of a mistake that you made that you learned something from that somebody listening right now might be able to benefit from?
All right, so I'm not gonna say any names. So like somebody who I used to listen to a lot back home, right? They used to buy weed off of me, and then they found out that me and my homie were like producers and engineers and artists. So they would come through and we like with him heavy. We with his music. So he was like, "Yo, homie's over here. He be rocking this, that, and the third. He know this person, that person. Like, and he from Philly. Like, yeah, that's valid." So, you know, like I won't say we glorified him, like, but we looked up to him. You know, like even to this day I say broke a rat, but like kind of just letting him be in our space. He kind of just got too comfortable, and like that we was recording songs. He was like giving us clothes and like just it was weird, right? And then he kind of like started linking with the homie who lived at my house, like without me there. But it wasn't nothing wrong with that because we all made music. So I go to New York, and when I come back, missing out my crib, and I'm like, well, who was here? And he was like, oh yeah, such and such was here. And I hit the ball up about it, and then he blocks me on everything. So I'm like, all right, like, it's whatever. Like, it's not really about nothing. It's just about the principle. And to this day, the only time I've ever seen him in traffic, he was with somebody, like, super famous and, like, with security. So unless I was really about to, like, do some wild shit over something that was, like, $100, like, you know, that would just be dumb. But, yeah, if it was under different circumstances, that shit would have been different. But it's just like sometimes not everybody that you look up to as a kid, and when you meet them, is like not all your heroes are really heroes. You feel me? So like sometimes you gotta tread lightly with who you give your energy to, even though that person might be somebody that you admire. Yeah. It's like just because that person on the outside looks like they got it all together and shit like that, you know, it might not be the case. And it's not, you mean, like, people go through shit. So, and we had discussions, but it never got resolved. So it's the same. I feel the same way about it that I felt. But it's like, yeah, you got to just tread lightly and make sure you get your energy to the right people. And like you said, if your gut tell you, yo, you shouldn't be, because my gut told me, like, I don't know, but. Right. And then I went with that but. And if I didn't, and if I just went with my gut, I probably wouldn't even had this experience. But it's like sometimes you gotta learn that shit. And now I'm more cautious with who I bring around and who I bring into my house. And I needed that experience because before I was like, oh yeah, you come over, bro. Like, yeah, right here, bro. Yeah, I got the studio. Like, and then that experience made me like, all right, who do I really want around my inner circle, and who do I want to really spend my time with? You know? So it kind of just opened my eyes, and it just like opened my eyes and matured me to another level. I mean, every man got to go through some shit like that. You feel me? Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, I think you need to compartmentalize people. Like, yeah. I think that's really important. That's when I learned that. I was like 21, right. So like that was when I really learned. Like, I mean, I knew people were scumbags out here, but it's like you let that marinate like that, bro. Like that's some criminal mind shit. You feel me? Like it's just weird, and it was over something petty. Like it was over some petty shit. So right. It was like, you know, it's like, damn, bro. I see how you really moving out here. So like, yeah, it's like you could be the kindest person to somebody, you feel me? And people will still do crazy shit.
Right.
So
well, and that's why, like I said, that's why it's important to recognize like who belongs where in your life, right? Some people don't belong in your life, period. Some people are cool as like an acquaintance type situation. Yeah. And that's fine. Like that's all that they really need to be. Mm-hmm. Then when you find those really genuine people that you can tell care about you as a person, those are the people you want around. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even if you don't think they are going to be the ones to open the doors, they probably will.
But and the thing is now that like me and these Deathproof guys, these are my brothers. Like, and that you usually don't say that about people that you just met, but like all of us have just been through our own unique experiences and we're all from around America. So it's like a melting pot of different people and we all click. And even when we butt heads, at the end of the day, you know, we brothers. So like brothers fight. But we always gotta get back right. You feel me? We don't never let the situation simmer, or just let it. We don't let shit rock. Like if something's going on, if something happens, if we end up fighting, we shake hands afterwards. If you one of my brothers, if you not, then it's you. You feel me? But you know how it is, man.
All right. So one last time, where can people find all your stuff? And then also, what else do you want to plug? Like moving forward, how can people best support you? What else can we kind of see coming up?
All right, well, you can follow me on Instagram at itsjavan, its.javan. You can follow Deathproof Inc., Deathproof Inc. on Instagram too. You can just look out for the music at Spotify, Javan, Apple Music, Javan. That's where it is everywhere, uppercase, if you want. And in the future soon, I would say, look out for the West Coast Deathproof Skateboarder edit. You know, that's coming soon. Look out for a music video and a new single coming soon from me. And I'm gonna be skating a lot more again. So look out for some new skate content on Instagram. I'm about to wipe everything from my page and get right back into it. Cause it's been like 5 months since I really skated hard. I f***ed my ankle up. So we getting back into the skateboard action. Yeah.
Dude. Dope. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like ankles have been my Achilles heel forever. Well, I mean, that is for a lot of skateboarders.
And now my Achilles heel is my Achilles heel.
Oh God.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Passion Pod. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you soon.